Hello and welcome back. It's puzzle time with Sudoku Sleuth, and today we're going to be playing Kropki Killer. Now, I imagine most of you are familiar with the Kropki dots, which is all about black and white dots. And that's kind of what was the inspiration for this thumbnail, but I just couldn't bring myself to go with something ridiculous like a polka dotted dressed killer in, white and black dots. It just seemed ridiculous. So I've gone for a bit of a compromise here where the killer is dressed in, or I say killer, just criminal, we don't actually know if he is a killer other than the title, is dressed in black and white. And for some reason, despite the fact that there's somebody very obviously creeping up behind Sleuth there, Sleuth seems to be oblivious to it, smiling, happy, staring into the distance. Hopefully he's going to be okay and he's going to turn around and figure out what is going on that's creeping up on him. Anyhow, today's puzzle is actually the first I have played from Jordan Oliver. It is meant to be a 1-star difficulty rated puzzle. Admittedly, when I take a quick glance at it, it looks like it'll be a little bit harder than that, but we'll see. It's the first time that I'm playing it, first time I'm actually filming it, of course. So, let's take a look at today's puzzle, where I think the title, once again, is fairly obvious why that is called Kropki Killer. So, no surprises, Kropki Killer, Jordan Oliver. Rules-wise, you've got normal Sudoku rules apply. That means place the digits 1 to 9 once each in every row, column, and 3x3 box. We're very familiar with this one. Then we have digits within a cage summed to the number in the top left corner of the cage, and digits may not repeat within the cage. So, for example, if this cell here was a 2 inside this 9 cage, these two cells are going to have to add up to 7 plus the 2 to get to 9. That could be, for example, 1 and 6, and that would be a totally valid set of pencil marks for this 9 cage. We also have cells separated by a white dot contain consecutive digits. So if this cell here was a 2, to be consecutive to the 2, this would have to be 1 or 3. There's no rules as far as I could tell about negative constraints whatsoever, so if that's a 2 with a 3 next to it, clearly consecutive, clearly no white dot, I also think that is allowed under today's rule sets. So, I'm not going to say fairly simple rule sets, but fairly straightforward rule sets. Most of us have seen these before. So as always, if you want to play along, do play along and obviously help save Sleuth. I don't know why he is kind of half asleep there. And for you to be able to do so, link is in the description down below as usual for you to play. And with that said, I'm going to restart the clock to see how I get on. So a bunch of these cages are forced. For example, a 7 cage and 3 cells can only be made up of 1, 2, and 4. No other 3 unique digits are going to get me to 7. No other unique digits will get me to 7, 8, 9 in a 3-cell cage to get to 24. 6, 8, 9 inside a 23 cage. Slightly bigger cage, 4-cell cage with 6, 7, 8, 9. Again, forced. But that is the end of the forced cages. And it's a little bit less obvious what's next, actually. I'm thinking box 1 with the white Kropki dot with the 9 cage, where most of the 9 cage is inside. So let's just think about the 9 cage for a second. So options for 9 cage in a 3-cell cage. 1, 2, 6 is one option. 1, 3, 5 is another option. And then lastly, without the 1, 2, 3, 4 is another option. Now you can see 2, 3, 4 doesn't work. 2 and 4 cannot be in here. I can't place both 2 and 4 in this cell. That's gone. 1, 2, 6 has the same challenge. Can't place 1 and 2 in here, given 1, 2, 4 is already taken in box 1. So that is also gone. So this is forced. This is 1, 3, 5, with this being 3, 5. Right. The 11 cage feels highly restricted now. So the minimum here is 2, 3, which gets me to 5. And the minimum here is 6. So this is also now forced. Right, maybe it's not as difficult as I thought it could be. That's 1, 4, that's 2, 3. That allows us to unravel a bit. This is now 7, 8, 9. A trick, as always, when it comes to any kind of white Kropki dot, is for them to be consecutive, one of them has to be even, one of them has to be odd. You're never really going to be able to get 2 odds to be consecutive or 2 evens to be consecutive. So that means the 8 is in here, and this is 7 or 9, and this is not an 8, and obviously there is an 8 in one of these 2 cells. 7, 8, 9, they're lining up in columns 1 and 2 between boxes 1 and 7. So 7, 8, 9 has to be in column 3 in box 4. Inside a 10 cage, you have to have this as a 7. 8 would be way too big because the minimum here is 1, 2 with the 7 to make up 10. I did say not 7. Yeah, these are 8, 9s and these are not 7s. 1 and 2 are looking up. They're giving me 4. They're giving me 1. And that's about it for the moment. Surely I could do better. All right, so time to think about the 13 cages and the 12 cages. These 4-cell cages. And actually this 12 cage as well. So without a 1, the minimum is 2, 3, 4, 5, which is 14. So both the 12 cage and the 13 cages have to have 1s in them. And you can see that 1 is now forced in this side, this 13 cage. This can only be in here. This 13 cage, one of these 2 cells has to be a 1. In fact, that can't be a 1 because that would force this to be a 2. So that is the 1. And then we need another 1 inside this 12 cage and a 1 in one of 2 cells inside this 12 cage. I don't normally like pencil marking across boxes like that. Because 2, 3, 4, 5 was, what was the word for it? 2, 3, 4, 5 was 14. I don't think I can avoid having a 2 because 1, 3, 4, 5 is 13. It's still too big for a 12. So inside the 12 cages is both 1 and 2. And that's true for this one as well. Let's see how we can use that. Obviously the 1 gave me a 2, gave me a 1. Lovely. The 2 now in box 5 is forced in these columns, which is aligning with box 2, which means neither of these are, in fact, neither of them are 1, neither of them are 2. So, hang on, I didn't mean to do that. So this is not 1, 2, and these are 1, 2. That means these are 3. I need 2 cells that add up to 12. They're either 3, 6, or 4, 5. So let's think about row 9 for a second. I've got 7, 8, 9 here. No 7s. No 7s inside the 12 cage. That's a 7. Then I have 2, and then 8 and 9 can't be in here, and they can't be inside the 12 cage. So, yeah, this is not a 6. And these are, this is the 6. So essentially I have either 3, 6 or 4, 5, and then another 2 cells are either 3, 6 or 4, 5. And it's not 4, 5 because take a look at column 3. What are these 2 cells? They're 1, 2, 4 to complete it. I've got 3, 5 pair, 8, 9 pair, and 6 and 7. So that has to be 1, 2, 4. This is not 4, 5. This is 3, 6. The 4 is in here, so that's the 5, and this is a 4, 5 pair. 5 in here gives me another 3, 6 there. Not going to pencil mark this. It's 3, 6 with another 4, 5 pair. 13 cage. Right, here is something. Even if I minimize the 13 cage with 1, 2, and 3, no, that is not something. I was going to say that, yeah, no, that's correct. I can't minimize it with 1, 2, 3. For a second, I was thinking, where's 7, 8, 9 in column 4? And it can only be in these cells. But then I thought, well, if this is 1, 2, 3, I can surely have a 7. But I can't have 2, 3. If I put 2 and 3 in this 13 cage, I break this cell. So the minimum I can put in here now is 2, 4. And therefore, the remaining digit would have to be a maximum of 6. So this is, in fact, 7, 8, 9, all outside of the 13 cage. And therefore, inside this, yeah, that's now forced, because that's a 7, that's a 6, that's a 7, and then this is 7, and then I need 2 cells that add up to 6, and it can't be 1, 5, it's got to be 2, 4. This is 3, this is 2, this is 5, this is 4. Can't do much with the 1, 2s at the moment. These are not 6s. 4 is inside the 20 cage. So 4 is in none of these cells. That's the only place for a 4, which forces it with a 7, 9. No other way to get to 16 plus the 4 to get to 20. And 7, 9 gives me 8. Removes an 8 from here. Gives me another 8 in here. 8, I can type. This is now forced. This is a 6. This is not a 6. This is an 8, 9 pair. That has to be the 7 then. And then these are 3, 5, and 8, 9. That's 3, 5. It can't be 8, 9. And then 3, 5, 8, 9. Am I going to pencil mark these? Not really my style. That's a 5, so I can put 3, 8, 9 in here. The rest of this is... Well, I have essentially another 1, 2 in the column. And then a 3... But not 8. No, I can have 8 and 9. I mean, I can't put it inside the 9 cage, but I could have another 8, 9 in here. So this is unfortunately quite the pencil mark. It's 1, 2, 3, 8, 9. There's no way I'm going to put this in. I think I've got all I can out of these cages for now. So maybe back to this 12 and 13. Let's think about these next. And yeah, let's definitely think about these next. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is 7, 8, 9. So same trick that we had in here. This is a maximum of 6. And then that would put 2 and 4 in here. And I can't go any higher. Of course I can't go any higher. Because, 7, 8, 9 are gone. So I think this is forced. This is 6. This is 7. These are not 7s. This is 2, 4. That is not a 2. 1 and 2 are now in here, which gives me 4 and 2. 2 and 4. In fact, I have a 3, 5 in here now, just completing row 3. And another 3, 5, just completing the box / the row. And this is, yeah, that is 13. 1 and 2. So that's 3, plus another 3 would get me to 6. So I would have a 6 in here. Or the alternative is 1, 2, and 5, which is 3 and 5, which is 8. And then this would have to be a 4, which is not allowed. So this is 1, 2 with 3 and 6. And the 6s gives me a 6 in here and then gives me a 1, 2 pair. 6 keeps going, gives me 3, gives me 6, gives me 3. I think I've done all the 6s. One more in here. One more in there, and then 4, 5 pair, but that's a 5, that's a 4. That is 8 or 9, and it's not 9. That's 8, that's 9, that's 8. Lovely. Finally, we're unraveling some of these early pencil marks. That's not 8 or 9, that's 3, that's 5. In here is 1, 2, 8. And I did say earlier that can't be the 8. So 1, 2 pair, that gives me 8 in here, 9 in there, 3 in here. And I don't know what this is. No, I do. 7 gives me 9, gives me 8, gives me 7, gives me 9, gives me 7, 9, 7. The 3 gives me 5 and 3. So let's just unwind all of these. These are not known now. No, but this is 9, 8. Look at me doing Sudoku. Halfway through the puzzle as well. I mean, just... This is 1, 2, 4 again, not a 1. I need another 1, 2, 4 somewhere in here, plus 3 and 5. And you can see the 3, 5 is not there. So this is 1, 2, 4, and this is a 3, 5 pair. The 9 cage is starting to get quite interesting now. These 3 cells are known. They're not 1, 2, 3, 4. They are 5, 7, and 9. Right, 7 can't be inside a 3-cell 9 cage without repeats, because that would have to be a double 1. So the smallest digit that is allowed in here is a 5, 3, and 1 to get to 9. That gives me 3. Nope, that gives me 5. Excuse me. I can do maths. I really can. 1, 2, 4, not resolved. 3, 2, 4, still not resolved. These are not 5s. 7 gives me 9 and 7. These are 4 and something. 3 and 4. 3, 4, 2, 4, 1, 2, 1, 4, 2, 2, 1, 2, And if I've not made any mistakes, 4 for the finish. That's a phenomenal puzzle, Jordan. I mean, it doesn't have like a... We've been so spoilt recently with layouts that include, you know, arcade games and Tetris and glyphs and whatnot. But this is just still fantastic. What a flow to it. It's... I think it's definitely harder than Gas. You kind of have to sort of be familiar with killer cages to make some of these deductions, some of these forced cages. And I think if I wasn't doing Sudoku all the way through, I probably would have struggled. But, I mean, regardless, fantastic puzzle. Hope that you guys enjoyed it as well. Not just the puzzle and the video. And see you back for the next one. Bye-bye for now.